So it's a Saturday. I don't know what to do with beef that's left over from a roast. And I decided I'm going to make a soup. So I thought I'd bring you along. So I'm going to take off the fatty part because I just don't like it. May be good for you, may have this, that, and the other thing in it, but when I touch it, I don't want to have fat in my soup. So I'm just going to clean this off and get this chopped up. It looks like it would make a nice sandwich. Oh boy. And see, this is what happens if you don't pay attention. Really quick, your garlic and onions, they can just go like, burn right up on you. So that's what happens when you decide to do a video and you're not prepared. You're, you know what? I'm going to keep them in there because I like them black like that, to tell you the truth. I don't mind if they're burnt. I think they get more flavor that way. So let me focus on this for a second. I've got onions, garlic, and olive oil. I went into the freezer and I found this bag that says breadcrumbs, but I know it's not breadcrumbs. It's zucchini from my garden. So that's going to go in there. And I found another bag of mushrooms that I did in April. I bought a bunch of mushrooms on sale and then I sauteed them up. So I'm going to put those in at the end. So I'm going to let them, they're sauteed in butter and olive oil. So they're going to go at the end. Sounding good already, right? Okay, let me see if this light helps. I'm going to take my camera and move it up a little bit and see if that helps. Doing this on the fly, as they say. Okay, so this is what's in there. Zucchini, onions, and garlic. The other day, I got this lonely green bean. The other ones were too far gone. So I'm just going to cut that up. Just every little bit. Oh, there it goes over there somewhere. Have to collect that later. Every little bit counts. And when you're making a, you know, everything but the kitchen sink soup, which is what I tend to do, I just wash the carrot and I am going to, well, I was thinking of not peeling it, but I think I'll peel just a little bit of it. Let's see. Let me get this back over here. I'm going to get this back on the heat because it's not going to do me any good sitting on the counter. And this wasn't planned, so I am, hey, you know, I'm just cooking in the kitchen like on a Saturday. And that's what we do, right? At least I do. I don't plan things down to a T. I see what I have in the refrigerator. That's what prompted me to do this. I started off cleaning out my refrigerator and now making a soup. If you do them the right way, it goes quicker. I have celery in my garden and I have some in my freezer. And my freezer is small, so I cannot find my celery at the moment. So I'm going to have to go out to the garden and get some celery. I have some parsley in the garden. And the other day I made I made rice. And I put some parsley, and this I have in my garden. I'm so proud of this because I grew these from seeds. And they're like, what are they called? They're not really chives. They said they were bunches of onions. That's all I could find. I wanted to get those Walla Walla onions and plant those, and I couldn't find any. But I did find some seeds. So that'll be exciting when it's time to plant those seeds. This is going to go in for flavor. I already have my onions that I did a batch of onions a few months ago. I got the Vidalia onions and I chopped them all up. I think I got like, I don't know, 20 pounds. And I chopped them all up and I put them in the freezer for a day like today when I just want to go in and I want to put my soup together so that I can go and play, because that's what I want to do. I already took my walk and now I'm thinking beef barley. So for beef barley, I gotta let this cook a little bit. And I have some leftover gravy, which is gonna help flavor it too. And then sometimes I take the barley and I cook it separately and then put it in, but I'm not doing that today. So it's a Saturday. What kind of things are you cooking? I mean, I need some interaction here from people who are actually cooking. I know my little dog down there, he wants some interaction. He would love a piece of this meat, wouldn't you, Zeb? There you go. There you go. I think there was a little bit of fat. You're not supposed to give dogs a lot of fat, at least my little dog. He will get sick. Okay, so this is all good, right? This was my original plate. It's over here. So I'm getting my, if I have, I'm only going to make a small soup because I tend to make a lot and then it can get thrown out. I think this is about enough for the soup, because if there's any left over here, which there is, I'm going to cut this up. I'm going to put it in a little baggie, and I'm going to put another baggie over it, and I'm going to label it soup meat, cooked soup meat. So the next time I want to make soup on a Saturday or on a rainy day, I'll just go into the freezer and then I'll just pull this right out and just throw everything together. And that's how you do things quick, and you can still have not wasted your meat, because this meat I was on sale. I paid $12.15 for it. We had a nice roast with mashed potatoes, carrots, green beans. I did everything. And gravy, soup, sandwiches, soup and a salad. I have some nice Italian bread that I bought, and I'm going to do that. And look at this. This is like a whole nother soup right there for like 3 or 4 people. I have my shredded zucchini in there, and I have the carrots that are flying in the room, and I have onions, garlic. I'm going to put in some water. Now my daughter filled up this water thing and she never took it to work, so that's going to go in there. I should make sure it's water. Yeah, it is water. Okay. See that? I'm making up for other things. There we go. Okay, so that is going to go in there. Now, I'm going to put this meat in there. And I have a jar of salsa, which, yeah, it has peaches in it, but who cares? It's my soup. I'm putting that in there for flavor. That's all kinds of flavor in there now. Oh my goodness, that's going to be good. Hey, soups are unique. You make them the way you want to. This is everything but the kitchen sink soup. That's how I always make it. Now I have this leftover parsley, not leftover, this is parsley from the freezer. So let me turn this off so I don't burn myself. I'm gonna take this and put this in there. Waiting for my mushrooms to thaw out a little more. And I'm going to go dig out the parsley from the back. Not the parsley, the barley. But I want these to all melt together and develop some flavor before I put that in there. And they're going to get a little helping hand because I have this delicious, delicious gravy. And I didn't want this to go to waste, so we're going to put that in there. And it's got a little bit of a thickener. And the only thing I think I would do, oh boy, I'm making a mess of my stove, is find another vegetable. I'm going to dig around in my freezer, or I'm going to dig around in the garden. Maybe I can find a couple more green beans that are still good, because I feel like it needs more vegetables. Although it does have all that zucchini in there, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, that's going to sit and it's going to brew on the stove for, I'm going to say 25 to 30 minutes. And I'm going to put it on low, and I'm going to use this because I'm going to do other things, and I don't want to have it go down so far that it loses all of the body. Okay, good. Now I'll put the other stuff in the freezer and clean up this mess. So my 30 minutes is up. My soup is looking pretty good. It smells really good too. The onions really make the house smell great. I decided to take 3/4 of a cup of barley and cook it separately with some salt. Now my mushrooms were still frozen, and I also decided just to take half of my mushrooms and put a clump of them in there, and then leave the other half in the freezer for when I make my second soup with that second batch of beef. So there we have that, and it's nice and thick. So when I put the what this stuff is here. Oh, barley. When I put the barley in, I want it to be rinsed and cooked, so that way it won't thicken up my sauce too much in there, because it's thick enough as it is. Okay, so that's what we got going right now. Yay, I get to use one of my tools. So this has been cooking for 30 minutes. It's probably got another 15, but I'm going to just put it in there. Oh, there goes the steam. It's going to be fine. So we'll turn that one off. Oh, is that going to go on? Here we go. And I turn it way down and put a little bit of water in there, and I'm trying not to destroy my clean stove, which, yes, it can always be cleaned again, but you know. There we go. That's looking pretty good. That's the end of the soup. It's going to cook for about another 20 minutes. So I went out to the garden and I got some Swiss chard, some celery, and I put them in the soup, and I thought, you know, I should set myself up for the next soup. I already have the meat in the fridge, in the freezer, so why not take this and give it a try. I haven't frozen Swiss chard, but I have frozen parsley, and I have frozen celery. And the celery leaves. So I'm just going to get these all cut up, and I have my bag already labeled. I'm putting some parsley in here, and I'm making it so easy for myself. I'll just pull this out. I'll pull the beef that's already cubed and ready to go, and I have a jar of onion broth, which I made and canned. Even if I didn't, I would just use a couple of bouillon cubes in hot water. That's so much cheaper than spending $2 on a box of broth. I was doing that, well, sometimes that's when I get it on sale. I've been doing that, and then I started using the bouillon cubes because it's cheaper, and somebody says, well, there's more chemicals in that. Well, there's a little bit more, but you decide what you want to eat, and I'll decide what I want to eat, and that's what I decided to do. So I'm going to take this, right? I'll just need something like a carrot, a couple carrots, or whatever else. I had found 3 or 4 green beans, but not too many. They were just like pretty much gone by. And I have this one, and they're just so tough that it's not going to be worth it even just to put them in the soup. So I'll take my onion, whatever this is. It's kind of like chives, green onion. I'll just put that in there, and I'll label that so that I know what I have in here. And I'm making myself all prepared for the next soup the easiest way possible. I even had some rosemary, which I'll chop up in there. And look at that. Now I'm all halfway done. All I need to do is, I could throw a potato. I'm not going to put a potato in the freezer. I just peel a potato, peel a carrot, throw it all together, and I have a meal already done for me. I could even leave this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave that in there, because what I do is I just leave that in, and then I just throw it, take it out, unless I forget to, and then my husband always finds it and asks me, what is this doing in there? And I always tell him he got the prize. He found the prize. It smells very vegetable-y and a little oniony, and just perfect for a soup. So there. Now I've got one soup already on the stove, and it's practically done. You can hear it simmering in the background. And I have another one practically all flavored, ready to go in the freezer. That's how I think. Think ahead of time. Think ahead, and on that day when I don't feel like making, I got this too. I don't want to overwhelm it with too much celery, because homegrown celery is stronger than the kind you get in the store. But I don't want to waste all that either. So that's it. That's it. We'll be all prepared and have 2 soups for the price of 1, and for the price of the time. This soup is looking so good behind me. I mean, that is like the heartiest, most delicious looking soup with not a lot of effort. My mushrooms are all thawed out. My barley looks great. And I have all those extra vitamins in there from the Swiss chard and the celery. And I found a couple green beans that were salvageable. Yummy.